Hey, welcome to the DBB channel, and today we have Lady Nagant versus the 104th Squad Corps from the Attack on Titan. Now they have just been released just recently, I would say a few days back, and we definitely have the luxury to visit them today in a deck battle. Now we do have Lady Nagant, which is actually the new, I would say, main character in Purple MHA, and of course for the red squads we have the Mikasa and as well as Eren Yeager. Now, Eren Yeager definitely have two variants to play around it. You can play towards the Titan form, but I would say the main focus today we're going to visit is the 104th squad group, because they have a very decent special which we'll take a look in this game itself. As you do see the arming coming down, allowing you to drop one, discard one, and we do have the Mikasa already pushed up, ready to deal that first damage. I'm going to hit it into a Lady Nagant, of course a get trigger, pushing into 6 life already. We're going to move on to our second AP turn for our left player. And the left player definitely have to just build energy this turn, because Lady Nagant is definitely a heavy energy kind of card. And we do see a final coming out already. We do what we want. It's going to actually play the Lady Nagant at the back row for the double energy, pushing up to 5 already. I'm going to see him actually just playing the very poor Eri in the front line. Now Eri does have 2500 BP to actually block off the Mikasa, so I would say it's not too bad of an answer given by the left player here. The right player definitely does see it coming, as he does go for the Sasha Browse, allowing to pump 1k power to the Mikasa, making it 3k, and you'll see the double energy as well as like offering up your heart, final, and then going for the vertical maneuvering equipment, allowing you to draw 2, and then calling 2 cards inactive. I'm gonna see 2 Mikasas just inactive like that, and of course going for that Mikasa raid to kill off that poor Eri, I would say. Now we do have 4 cards in the front line ready to swing at the opponent's life here. Definitely gonna do some significant damage, as we do see him hit into the Lady Nagant raid, and the second swing will actually hit into a color here, so not too shabby, because the purple color trigger does allow him to play 2 costs below from the outside area to the front line. And looks like it does go for the overhaul here. Now what does the overhaul here do? He just actually reveal the top 4 cards of his deck, and does pick up one of the gang member, I would say. We're gonna pick up the Mimic here, adding it to hand, and then if you do add a card through this way, you're actually required to actually drop a card. So you're gonna drop the Mimic anyway. I'm going to see him Mikasa throwing another body, or another attack, and he does hit into a special here. And looks like he does decide to special the red Mikasa instead, mainly because the vertical maneuvering equipment is going to force these 2 Mikasa back to the hand. And then of course Mikasa can choose to discard 1 card to stay on the field, but we can already see that the right player only have 1 card left. He did go for the very big play here, and I think the mistake was definitely to kill off that Eri, because Eri wouldn't have any chance to actually, block any of the attacks anyway. And we're gonna see the first 3 AP turn for the left player here, as he does decide to push out the Lady Nagant with the very interesting snipe mechanic. We're gonna see actually play another Lady Nagant in the back row, ensuring 5 energy here. And he's gonna actually go for a Mimic here. No, he's gonna go for that Chronostasis. Basically a very decent 4k attacker in the front row. And we're gonna see him actually going for the Mimic in the front row as well. Just to mainly soak up some damage from the right player, as we do see Lady Nagant going for the snipe, discarding 2 cards, although quite expensive, but controlling the board anyway, because especially against the red AOT, the board presence is very important. And we do see him actually only having 4 energy with nothing in the front line, so this is definitely going to spell a bit of trouble here, as you do see him actually pushing out the Sasha Browse to the front line. And it's going to start building the energy once again, as we do see him playing another Sasha, giving 1k to the Sasha Browse. And then of course going for the Mikasa Akuma in the back row. A very small turn, it's going to swing, and then Mimic of course absorb the attack immediately. And this is where the left player actually stabilized the board very well. And I don't think he's going to go for the Lady Nagant skill again, because discarding 2 cards is definitely very expensive no matter how you see it, especially in a game of UA. But he's going to go for the Quirk Destroying Bullet, which is actually a very decent special, because it does not remove the body but just make sure that the cards stay rested. You're gonna see him actually hitting a couple of cards, and you do see him actually hitting to an active trigger, but you can't active that card at all thanks to that Quirk Destroying Bullet. And we do see him actually hitting 2 active and going down to 2 life already. So the mistake from the raiding of Mikasa definitely costed the right player here, as he does lose that 1 turn of tempo, giving him getting chased by the Lady Nagant here. And we do see him actually going for the Reiner Brown in the back line, after he pushed out 3 cards to the front line. So this turn is definitely where he starts building the board here. You do see calling another Mikasa Ackerman in the back row, and I believe that's about it. It's going to swing the Eren Yeager, and Eren Yeager does become a 4K, especially if you do have 3 or less life. And it's going to use the Mimic to block again. The Mimic is definitely a very good sponge here. And the Ackerman, Mikasa, sorry, is going to go for that 4K swing because he does have 5 other friends in the area. And we shall see, he's not going to use the Overhaul to block it. And the Sasha is going to actually not swing. And there's slight misplay here because everyone thought that the Chronostasis is a 4K as long as you have an Overhaul in your area. However, the Overhaul has to be in the front line to actually give the Chronostasis that 4K buff. You do see him pushing up the Lady Nagan, and you see Toga coming down, and that's actually misplaced slightly here because even though it's not a raided card, he actually has to pick it up, and he does have to discard 1 card either way. So he does go for the final anyway, then going for the Chronostasis in the back row, and then raiding into the Lady Nagan. Now Lady Nagan does have a bunch of effect, but simply put, on the turn he's raided, he does have a snipe effect, and then of course you can rest it to give it an additional effect. He does go for the impact one here, I believe, and of course using his other effect to stand it. Now we're going to see he actually swing with the Chronostasis first, being blocked by the Sasha Brows, and he's going to use the Lady Nagan to actually snipe off the Eren Yeager from his maneuvering equipment, and then of course the impact one will come through, hitting to just an Armin, drawing 1, not too much of a surprise here because we definitely want to see special from the opponent's life at this stage of time. And I would say the Coke Destroying Bullet does have a very, I would say, interesting way to trigger people because it is a special. It does remove their body, but however the body stays rested in the front line, and the only way you can actually play around the Coke's Destroying Bullet is to simply replace the body. Now replacing the body does seem very straightforward, but it just have a very weird quirky feeling to it because you're forced to overboard. And then we do see him actually going for the Mikasa raid here to actually kill off that Toga, very unfortunate. And I would say the idea of Coke's Destroying Bullet, the opponent has to time it very well, because if your opponent does use the Coke Destroying Bullet on top of your non-raided cards, you can actually raid it to refresh the effects, destroying that Coke Destroying Bullet entirely. I do see him actually swinging the Mikasa. The Lady Nagan does have to absorb the damage, and we do see him passing the turn here. And let's not forget that Lady Nagan is able to actually go for the impact one once again. Baizusa is going to go push out the Chronostasis in the front line first, then going for the Coke Destroying Bullet one more time in the same spot. Mikasa is going to be, completely useless here as he does become rested. Then going for the Overhaul. So Overhaul does have a built-in impact 1 as well as a very strong ability whereby on play you can mill the top 3 cards of the deck, and then pick up one of the gang member, add it to your hand. It's going to pick up one of the Mimic once again, and then of course Lady Nagan can discard that Mimic to actually allow him to gain impact 1 and restand the card. So he does have 2 impact 1 and 2 4K swinging at the opponent, and so this is pretty much game if you ask me, because the opponent does have only 1 life here, and the Overhaul will swing, hitting to the last life, and this is game over. So this is where Lady Nagan takes the W. Now this is the Overhaul deck list if you guys are interested in. And this is the Red AOT deck list if you guys are interested in as well. Thank you guys for watching till the end, and do consider subscribing, dropping a like and a comment if you guys do enjoy the content.